Hi, this is Shekinah from Gold Level Gaming. Gold Level Gaming is the name I would be doing all these replays under. Kinda rolls off the tongue, and it's pretty much my skill level at the moment. We're looking at a Zerg vs Protoss game at the moment, where I'm playing the Zerg here on the top right, and the Protoss player is somewhere on the map. Of course, when we started this, I actually chose random, so my opponent doesn't really know that I'm Zerg. That's something he's going to have to find out for himself. This game was very annoying. Normally when I play against Protoss, I'm very tempted to just go for a 7 roach rush, which I could do a video on later. And the reason I choose that is because if it's done properly, it's very often guarantees a win. Not always, but often. And by properly I mean done with an overlord. If you have an overlord at his ramp, so for vision, then you can attack his units not worrying about force fields, or you can try go for a gateway, or the cybernetics core is even better. But in this game I decided, no, I won't do a 7 roach rush. I'll try to play properly. I've done lots of rushes before, popped up into platinum, and then I couldn't handle being there because everybody just hammered me down when I tried to play properly. And the rushes weren't working quite as well. I guess people tend to be a little bit more familiar with them by then. So yeah, I went for a 14 pull and a 9 overlord. I felt kind of obligated to go for the pull first because I think Zerg tend to be a little bit weak against Protoss when expanding early. It's too easy for them to just do a cannon rush or 2-gate zealot rush, both of which can be very hard to deal with if you don't have a pull up. And then there goes the gas. I think that was around 14 or 15. Don't really remember. So there's my my drone goes out, finds him first time, which is great. I see he has a what's it called? A gateway in his base, which is good news because that means he's not trying to proxy me or something. So that's always a relief to find. Of course, I still have no idea what he's really going to try to do. So I've got to try and hang around and find that out. But my multitasking needs a lot of work. And my spawning pool is up, but I completely forget to build damn queen, which is just stupid. And then the roach warren goes up. I felt it was very important to get the roach warren up. Oh, there's a cybernetics core. Because if he's going to do a 4-gate push, as many Protosses do, I should say, then I'm going to need something up to defend that. And the situation which ideally I'd like to have is where I've expanded, I've got some roaches and spines up, and I'm using those to defend the expansion while I drone up a little bit in the background. Didn't quite work out that way in this particular game, and we are going to find out why. Oh, the biggest problem was scouting. Often scouting is a huge problem for me. I'm so busy trying to focus on my build orders and expanding and droning up, which don't really exist that well even though I'm focusing on them, that I often forget to expand. And after a while, after about 10-15 minutes into the game, I'm sitting there thinking, I actually have no idea what my opponent's doing. I have no idea how many bases he is. I have no idea what army composition he has, what technology he's gone for. And that's a very uncomfortable position to be in, especially for Zerg. It just feels horrible. So anyway, the hatchery's down now. We should soon be building a few roaches, and I don't think I tried to drone up too much at this point. I just assumed that he was sitting there preparing for the 4-gate, and which of course was not the case, and I turned out to be very wrong. And he ended up crushing me. Yes, he crushed me. It was like someone took an ice pack, shoved those into my underwear, then ripped off my shorts and pointed and laughed. Great fun, as you can imagine. At what point does he start this? I think it's about the 11-minute mark, so I might be tempted to skip ahead of this slightly. Maybe I should do a little bit of QQ before I do that. You know, the thing that I find hardest to deal with in Protoss are the force fields. People say that they're necessary, that Protoss are too weak without them, or something like that. But I just find it so frustrating when I've tried to do my best to macro up and I've built my little small army, and then they come in and throw down 15 force fields, and that's me screwed. You know, I kind of resent that a tiny bit. It's like, why would you need to give any race something invincible for 15 seconds, or at all? Nothing else in all of these races is invincible. Nuclear bombs, really strong, but you get 10 seconds to stop it coming in. You know, there's like there's a way to deal with everything except for those damn force fields. Okay, yeah, you could get a massive unit, but you can't get those early game. And I don't know, maybe there are other ways to deal with it, like spreading your forces out a bit more, but I just find them so hard to deal with. In any case, we've got, I think that was, let's have a look. That should be a spore crawl I was putting down. Try to put these down just by default against Protoss, because they tend to send their observers into my base, which is very annoying. And once or twice I've had DTs run into my base before I was ready. And then of course, if you don't have an overseer or a spore crawler up, that's you, done. So I try to put those up just as a matter of course. Got a few roaches built up now. Feeling probably slightly comfortable, but not comfortable enough. I think at some point I started droning up a bit, but not nearly early enough it looks like. I've still got way too few drones. Again, biggest problem here, I haven't been scouting. I don't know where my opponents is. We're nearing the 8.5 minute mark, which is often when Protosses push with a 4-gate. I don't know if he's even doing this. You could have gone for 2 Stargates for all I know. Maybe I should be building extra queens, extra spores. This game is just... It's very difficult to deal with everything that could be coming at you. You've got to scout. You've got to find out what he's actually doing. I could be running Zerglings into the front of his base there to find out. I should have Overlords way closer to his base by now. What is that coming down? What is that coming down? Let's go have a look. There, 2 Zerglings. Okay, that should have happened a lot sooner. I think they're just going to sit here on this watchtower. Well, that's stupid. That doesn't help anything. Okay, I can maybe see him come by here, but you can just kill those, and then I have no idea when he's coming anyway. What I really need to do is scout. I've got to get that into my head. I've got to scout. It's not the only important thing, but it is very important. Okay, now unless I'm mistaken, this is an attempt at scouting his front. Now let's see what happens. So I come in, I see that. Apparently I don't notice the Nexus at all. I did not notice that during the game. And even if I had, at this stage, it's too late. I should have scouted that sooner. I should have seen that expansion sooner. And I think that's the reason why he beat me so badly. Or so well, if you look at it from his point of view. Against a 2-base Protoss, what I've been told is you've got to try and make sure that you always have 1 extra base over the Protoss as much as possible for as long as possible. So if I scouted that in time, and I think he went very early for that, I might go back and check in that in a minute. Check on that. I think he might have done that even though he didn't know I was Zerg. So he didn't go early forge or anything, because remember, I went random, so he had no idea. He just put down a standard early expansion. And if I'd known about that, I could have tried to do 2 early expansions, drawn up a lot more and had a lot more units, or more resources to fall out back on when he was doing his early expanding, or attacking. Got a layer up here. I think that was slightly delayed. Trying to get more gas up, more drones. But by this stage it's way too late. A 2-base Protoss against a slow teching, slow expanding 2-base Zerg. The Zerg just doesn't stand a chance. So we can see him here now on the minimap. He's coming in, preparing for his attack. Again, completely oblivious to the fact that we're at the 11.5 minute mark and not the 8.5 minute mark. I should have known something was up. So I'm just thinking normal standard 4-gate pushers coming in. Throwing down a couple more extra spines in preparation for it. Moving out with the roaches. I destroyed these rocks over here with the roaches because I figure if he's got force fields, I need to clear as much space for myself as possible. So that's just happening now. And his attack is going to come in very soon. Trying to keep up on the inject larvae, very important, although I've got loads of larvae stacked up there, so it's not like I'm exactly falling behind. 17 larvae. That's good, you definitely want that in place. Look at how low my resources are compared to his. And he's Protoss, and he's going to be warping things in with his stronger units. And I'm only just now... Oh, terrible, terrible, terrible. I could not believe how bad I lost this game when it happened. And it was only when I watched the replay that I even knew he had that expansion. I mean, look at that. You can clearly see it on the minimap. And here he comes in. Look at those. All those zealots. 3 immortals, a few stalkers. And just 4 sentries can go and create all of those force fields and screw me up. And there goes my army. Just plummeting destroyers, doing their best, but not able to stand against all the extra resources, or the extra units of this Protoss. And he's continuing to warp things in, of course he is. So let's go to the everyone cam now. How many? He has 43 probes to my 24 drones. That's disgusting in a Protoss first Zerg game. Terrible, look at that. I didn't challenge that expansion once. I didn't do anything to try and stop it. He's got 6 gates up. My gosh, no wonder I lost this game. I did not stand a chance. Not even remotely stand a chance. All because I did not take the time to scout properly. And I left without saying GG. I always leave without saying GG. That's not me trying to be rude. I just do it that way. Yeah, so I was very surprised that I lost it at the time when I lost it. Having watched the replay, I'm not remotely surprised that I lost it. And before I stop, I think I'd like to quickly have a look at exactly when this guy put his expansion down. So we go to the everyone cam here. The expansion's okay. So he's got a gateway and a cybernetics core before his expansion. He's got 22 probes to my 16 drones. Well, that's not too surprising with Chrono Boost. And now he puts his expansion straight down at 25 supply. Oh wait, this is what I need to know. This is what I need to know. Does he know what race I am? Okay, he does know what race I am at this point. Let's go back a tiny bit. Okay, so he does know what race I am. He did do a bit of scouting. That may have affected his decision to expand. And the fact that I didn't go for a very early pull perhaps made him feel that, well, even though the fact that I don't have a forge, that he doesn't have a forge, isn't really that big a deal, because if I've not gone for a very, very early spawning pull, then it's unlikely that I'll be attacking anytime soon. Or if I do, then he's got a zealot up, and maybe he can bring in a stalker and a sentry to deal with anything I might have thrown at him at that very early stage. So that's I think that's where I went wrong. He expanded, I did not scout it, I did not deal with it properly, and he ended up crushing me. That's something I'm going to have to learn from and make sure I take care of in the future. Thank you for listening. If indeed you have, I hope to produce more of these. Please feel free to leave comments at the bottom of the video.